Hi everybody, welcome to the Game Plan. I'm Rico. Today I'm going to be doing a summary of the board game challenges that I attempted over the course of 2019. Since we started this channel in 2019, I didn't get the opportunity to do the introduction to this. I'm going to be doing one for 2020, and then next year do a summary of that one. But so here you're just going to get the summary. So I like to get on Board Game Geek and find geek lists where they do different types of challenges. Some of them are way beyond anything that I'm going to ever be able to do. There's one, I think, at 365 by 1, so you play 365 new games or unique games over the course of a year. So they don't have to necessarily be new, but if you play a game 10 times in a year, only one of those plays counts towards that 365 games. Sorry, I don't have that much time. Actually, I probably do have that much time. I just don't have that much time that I prioritize for board games. But so what I'd like to talk about are the ones that I did, and to start, I'm going to do the 10 by 10. So this is probably the most common, or at least the one I hear about the most. It's the one I found out about first. It's the idea of play 10 games 10 times. Now there's two ways to do this. There's one is a hardcore and one is normal. Hardcore is you choose which 10 you play before you even start the year, and then you're obligated to finish those. This last year I did 67% of my hardcore play. I didn't do very well. The 2 years prior I've actually completed them. So this is the first year in a couple years I haven't done it, and I was able to do Star Realms, Splendor. I'll just throw these all up. Star Realms, Splendor, Ganshan's Clever, or That's Pretty Clever, Le Havre, Inland Port, and Scythe. I was able to get all of those 10 times, but Fuji Flush, Great Western Trail 5 times, Barren Park 4 times, Rajas of the Ganja 3 times, and Azul and Dinosaur Island 2 times. You might notice there's 11 there. In a 10 by 10 challenge, you choose 11, and you have that flexibility, but it didn't matter for me. All of those I think are great games. I was really surprised how little I played Azul and Dinosaur Island 2 times each. I thought Azul was going to get 20 plays easy, and Dinosaur Island we like so much. I thought for sure that was going to be an easy at least 5 to 8, and maybe a stretch to 10, but shouldn't be that hard. 2 times, good. That's so bad. Yeah, kind of sad year for my hardcore 10 by 10. Now my normal 10 by 10 did fairly well. I was able to complete it really easily because we were introduced to a lot of light filler games this year, because we were being introduced to some friends of friends types of things. We met a couple that we game with fairly regularly, and new to Florida area, we're starting to be introduced to some of their friends who are a little bit lighter, and so they like to play some of these lighter games, and it turns out it's really easy to play 10 of them. So Werewords, The Mind, Welcome to, Just One. Just One is a great game, by the way. I really have liked that one. That's Pretty Clever, Splendor, Star Realms, Le Havre, Inland Port, 5-Minute Dungeon, and Telestrations. I've played all of those 10 times, and it's you may have heard some copies from my hardcore 10 by 10 because I actually played those particular ones 20 times. They're easy to play, they're light, and they're short, and so you can play them like crazy. There were a few accomplishments that I was able to do. I'm not going to go through every game on these ones, but I was able to complete what they call the Diversity Challenge, is 100 by 1, so 100 unique games over the course of the year, and I was able to complete that, I believe, in like late October, which I thought was pretty good. So I'm probably pushing around 100 and maybe 15 unique games over the course of 2019, which that's pretty cool. I was able to do a 365 games played. This is not unique games. This is just 365 plays. I was able to complete that as well. That one actually took, I think, until early December for me to be able to complete that one. And then finally, I did it's called the Play It Again challenge, and I like this challenge because it kind of keeps me honest in that I take any game that has not had a play in the last 3 years, and then I have to play it by the end of the year. And if I do play throughout the year, I then specify whether I'm going to keep it or I'm getting rid of it. Well, there goes Tony. I don't know if you guys heard that. So yeah, I would decide if I'm going to keep it and get rid of it, and then just kind of a brief explanation why I decided to do what I decided to do. And this year I had quite a list because there were a few games that we had acquired through flea markets and that kind of stuff that we'd played once and then just didn't play for, well, 3+ years. Pandemic was one that we've owned since basically we started the hobby. This is one of the very first games we owned getting into the hobby, and for that reason, very nostalgic. We did not play it, but we're keeping it for now, just for nostalgic reasons, I think. Libertalia. This is one we did get a chance to play. We do like it. It's a little bit light for our taste, and I think it just didn't seem like it was going to fit anywhere into what we were going to do, so we're going to just pass it on. I think it's a great game, and so I'm actually happy that someone else is going to get to enjoy it, because I hate the fact that a good game is sitting on the shelf. Versailles. This is a game that we had acquired in a flea market, and as time went on, it became harder and harder to just sit down and play it, because you kind of got that feeling like, oh, if I really haven't wanted to play it thus far, it probably isn't good enough that I want to play it now either. But it turned out to be a decent little game. It was a little bit light. It did fit a little niche in our collection, I think, that we don't have a whole lot of games for. But at the end, it just felt like a game that we were never going to ask to play, so we decided to purge that one as well. Kanban. This is the one that is so bad. I wanted to play it. I've been wanting to play it ever since I got it. We played it once many years ago, and it was probably a little heavy for where we were as gamers at that time. And it was still fun and enjoyable, and I still would have wanted to play it again. It just took, it's just one of those. It's so heavy that the idea of doing it. Hi, Tony. So I've got a Tony. I don't know if you guys can see that. But yeah, for that reason, it just never got to the table, and I'm not getting rid of it, even though I haven't played it, because damn it, I am playing it I'm playing it in 2020 as a must, and I'm sure I'm gonna like it again. I mean, I remember how it plays, and it was a fun game. Pairs was a game that we got in a swag bag, and we kept it for way longer than we should have, just because of it's a simple filler game that we thought could fit really easily into just like a pocket, but we just never found a place. It's just not that fun, so we got rid of it. Heir to the Pharaoh. This is a 2-player only game that is. I thought it was an interesting and fun game. I really did like the mechanisms. I enjoyed the game, but it's a 2-player only, and it's really much based off of anticipating and reading what the other player is going to do. So you both play actions face down as cards simultaneously, and then the results of those will dictate what is acquired and actions are taken. And if you know and can anticipate well what your partner is going to do, it just becomes a runaway. Like I can read Lindsay so well that she has no chance of even being remotely competitive in the game. I mean, after years and years, I mean, just after many plays, it may be, but getting to that point was probably just not going to be that fun for her. And so we decided to get rid of it, even though we both were like, yeah, it's a decent game. And any other gaming partner, like any other gaming 1v1, probably would work just fine. But if you have that much of a better ability to read than your gaming partner, I don't know that it's going to be that fun. So Roll For It. Roll For It is a little game of dice rolling. Tony, you can't get on there, buddy. That's just not going to happen. It's a little game of dice rolling that is way outside our normal wheelhouse, but this is a game that we like to play during the Olympics, because in the Olympics, they have while they're warming up and getting everyone ready, they have their little stories of, trials and tribulations they went through, whatever, and you can listen to that, play this type of game, and just have a great time. And then, boom, when the gun fires and they're off doing their sprint or their swim or whatever, you stop playing, you can watch the event, and then when you're done, you can pick up where you left off, because it takes 0 brains to play this game. And that's kind of what we do with our Olympics. So the Olympic game of Roll For It, we did take it out to the lanai, we did play it, and we are keeping it. Tony, I'm going to have to let you down, buddy. Poor buddy. Friday. This is a solo game that I was introduced to very early into my gaming as well. I played it a handful of, I don't know, maybe a dozen or so times, and then it kind of just sat there. I drifted away from the solo experience. I'm just not much of a solo gamer, and so I've just decided that I'm just going to pass it on. I've kind of evolved my gaming tastes away from the game. I think the game is fine. I don't dislike the game, just not something that I itch to play. So I decided to go ahead and just purge that one. Let me see here. We've got Mission Red Planet. So this one we did not play, but we semi-purged it. So we decided to relocate this one to my parents' house. When we travel from Florida to where they live in Salt Lake City, Utah, very much dislike Utah. When we travel there, we like to be able to play games with them, and they aren't the heaviest gamers, but we don't like to carry, you know, in our bags all those games all the time. So we decided these are the types of games that if we're ever going to play them, it's going to be with my parents, or some family friends there in Utah. And so we're just going to go ahead and relocate them there. I don't know if that counts as a purge. I've heard that, you know, those people who are hoarders, if they just move them to storage units, that's not really solving the problem, right? So I think it counts, kind of. And then finally, Saloon Tycoon. Saloon Tycoon was up for the chopping block just because it hadn't been played for so long. We played it again with some friends, and everyone seemed to enjoy it just fine. I'm fairly mediocre on the game myself. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's very attractive. The components are very, very nice. It was a Kickstarter with some pretty glamorous production. The gameplay itself is fine. It's a little bit luck driven in the way that you get your cards can really very, very strongly influence the outcome of the game. For instance, if you're trying to, it's one of those games where you're trying to fulfill contracts, say, and there are hidden contracts, but there are items that are available in the game once, and you need that in order to fulfill a contract that nobody else knows about. And so someone might just be, through the regular gameplay, say, oh, this is available to me and I can afford it and I'll take it, for no other reason than the fact that it's going to let me build something. And it's the one item that you needed to fulfill a contract that is a major scoring component for your end game. If you just get unlucky, bam, there's nothing you can do and you can't come back from that. So for me, it was kind of a turnoff in just that your strategy can go so south so fast for no reason of your own, which is luck, and I'm not huge into luck. So, but everyone else thought it was a nice experience and it was fine and pretty, so we're keeping that one. So that's it. Those are my challenges as a summary for 2019. You can expect a challenges incoming for 2020 video. I will be kind of going over some of my picks for like my hardcore 10x10 and the play it agains that are now entering the 3+ years of no plays for 2020. As you can probably guess, Kanban will be on there. But yeah, we'll see you guys then.